and welcome to this visual summary of the 2015 North Carolina Scholastic Media Institute. I'm Julia Ryan of Cardinal Gibbons High in Raleigh.
And I'm Jacqueline Roth of Audrey Kell High in Charlotte. It's a good thing that most of the work we've been doing this week has been inside because it has been brutally hot in Chapel Hill. Sarah Schotten of First Flight High in Kill Devil Hills tells us some people don't have the luxury of working inside.
Having to work outside for hours on end can be exhausting, especially when the temperature climbs to 100 degrees. But for Mario Tamez and his crew of workers from Houston, Texas, it's a normal workday.
We try to cope with the heat as best we can. It's hot, granted, it's very hot. We're especially prepared with lots of water, Gatorade, the fluids that we need to keep our men energetic.
In Texas, the temperature can reach 120 degrees, so the triple-digit heat in Chapel Hill is no sweat for these Texans.
We also are prepared in taking care of our people. So we know where your hospitals are, we know where your police station is, we know where the emergency services are.
On Tuesday, we all experienced a record-breaking temperature of 100 degrees compared to the previous record of 97. The town of Chapel Hill sent out a news release giving special instructions about dealing with the record-breaking heat. The email emphasized the importance of drinking plenty of fluids and limiting outdoor activities. But for the campers at the Tar Heel women's soccer camp, the game must go on. On-site trainer Catherine Miller says she wants to make sure the campers stay hydrated.
What we do is we recommend every 30 to 45 minutes having water breaks. We have cold coolers that are filled with ice waters, and they have towels that they can put on themselves. We also have a big tub of ice water that they've been playing with just to cool them down.
In the first week of soccer camp, there haven't been any heat-related incidents. Health professionals encourage everyone, much like the soccer campers and construction workers did this past week, to stay hydrated and healthy this summer. I'm Sarah Schotten, NCSMI News.
One way to stay cool when we're not working on our projects is by hitting the fun spots on Franklin Street.
Brooklyn Morning of Prince George's County High in Virginia tells us about one very cool place in the heart of the town.
Franklin Street has a large variety of restaurants and shops that the locals enjoy. This summer spot provides a nostalgic atmosphere as well as an old classic vibe. Part of that comes from Sutton's Drugstore, known for more than medicine. The restaurant has been serving customers for more than 92 years.
We want you to feel comfortable. It's like eating at home, but you're not at home. That's what we want.
People have been coming here for years just based upon the pictures I can see on the wall.
Many admire Sutton's unique approach to making a customer feel welcome. The interior of the restaurant is covered with familiar local faces.
Basically, we changed the wallpaper, which we put up new pictures.
Not only are there pictures hanging from the ceiling, but also jerseys of UNC sports stars that catch the eyes of customers.
We have a whole men's basketball team in today. They were here for breakfast this morning. And a couple pros, Marcus Ganyard and Danny Green were here.
That familiarity makes it tough to say goodbye when the time comes.
You know, that's the worst thing about being in a college town. You get attached to the kids and become real good, and then they go away.
Sutton's Drugstore has been a Franklin Street favorite for a long time, and the owners hope to keep it that way.
I think it'd be missed if it wasn't here anymore.
I'm Brooklyn Morning, NCSMI News.
Sutton's is one of many great places to eat.
Madison Albin tells us about another one that has a flair for international flavors and local favors.
Vimela's on Franklin Street specializes in Indian cuisine and hospitality. That's why it has become a community favorite.
The restaurant was born out of our community dinners that we cooked at our house. My wife, who's the chef, been cooking out of her house for almost 20 years.
She started this thing from her own house and kind of just built it up. I don't think she necessarily sees like other restaurants as like competition. She's just like kind of wanting to make this place, you know, her thing.
Vimela's is based on the idea of helping the community so no one is turned away due to lack of money.
Vimela, the person that she is, she's very community minded. She has a bottomless heart.
We have 2 jars on the counter. One jar is a traditional tip jar. The other jar is our Vimela Cooks Everybody Eats jar. And people from the community put money into that jar. That money gets loaded onto a gift card, and with that gift card, we can pay for meals for those who don't have enough to pay for it themselves.
With her life ideals in the palms of her hands, Vimala created the establishment to provide quality food and service, and the community has bought into that ideal.
As you can see, Vimala's is a restaurant that's loved by all in the community, and she gives back in every way that she can. This is Madison Alburn reporting, NCSMI News.
While you're on Franklin Street, you might want to stop at one of the stores that sell Tar Heel gear.
And now, there's some new, though somewhat retro clothing to choose from. Kendall Cohen of Carmel High in Indiana explains.
The UNC Athletics program has teamed with Nike to bring back a more traditional look to the school's apparel in order to maintain Carolina's rich legacy. Chapel Hill Sportswear sales associate John Hudson says the community's response to the new look has been generally positive.
But as far as the new looks for the uniforms, we've got them on some of the new things coming, and we've gotten a lot of interest, and people have already wanted to try and buy them, but we don't have them to sell because Nike hasn't made them commercially yet.
Hudson believes sales will be great for the new Our Blue apparel. Sophomore Sam McCormick likes the unifying nature of the change.
I know I used to go to like sporting events, and we would get all different kinds of t-shirts. It's nice now to have one central thing that we can all wear and be recognized as a university for.
Director of UNC Student Stores, John Gorsuch, explains the thinking behind going back to the future.
They decided it would be very wise for branding reasons is to come up with what was officially Carolina Blue and recognize it, and then expect that all products and stuff adhere to the new guidelines for what Carolina Blue is.
The new Our Blue line features a consistent shade of blue and also a more sharpened version of the interlocking NC logo. The collaboration of UNC and Nike apparel creates a more traditional feel in Tar Heel merchandise. Based on what we're hearing on campus, it is going to be pretty popular. I'm Kendall Cohen, NCSMI News.
Because of an ongoing scandal at Carolina, you might think fewer people would be interested in wearing that old blue gear.
But Sarah Hunter of TC Roberson High in Asheville says that's not the case.
UNC Chapel Hill's outstanding athletics and academics blend to create an experience unlike any other. That attracts many new students to campus each year. But UNC is going through a crisis. During an 18-year period, more than 3,100 students, a majority of whom were athletes, were enrolled in fake courses. Those easy grades kept some athletes eligible to play. Despite these shocking allegations, application numbers have continued to increase. Patty Baum has been the Assistant Director of Admissions at UNC for almost 6 years. The continued level of interest doesn't surprise her.
And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that students are simply applying to more and more universities. I think a lot of people are worried that everything that's been going on with the NCAA and everything here at UNC may have a negative impact on that, but we haven't seen that for the last few years.
The numbers of parents and students either considering or planning on coming to Carolina are just as big as ever. Incoming freshmen visiting the campus say the scandal had little to no effect on their decision to come to UNC.
I chose Chapel Hill for the campus and the weather and of course the academics and the atmosphere on campus.
Yes, I knew about the athletic scandal.
It did not influence my decision on applying here.
The university would obviously like to close this chapter, but despite all the negative publicity, plenty of people still want to become Tar Heels. I'm Sarah Hunter, NCSMI News.
There have been plenty of things to distract the sports fans among us during the week. The NBA playoffs, the College World Series, and the Women's World Cup.
Well, as Zenna Smith of TC Roberson High tells us, that third one really isn't distracting too many of us.
This is the 7th Women's Soccer World Cup, but the public has been less than enthusiastic about this event. Last year, the Men's World Cup broke viewership records, but this year, soccer hotspots like Italian Pizzeria 3 have seen far fewer fans coming to watch.
I was not expecting like a lot of people for the Women's World Cup, I gotta be honest with you, because I think the men is always, I don't know, people seems like more to care about it.
advertisers seem not to care. Fox Sports expects to generate only 3% as much profit from this tournament compared to the Men's World Cup last year.
I honestly don't think they get as much publicity because, well, even for me, I watch pretty much every single game of the Men's World Cup, and I've only watched like the ones I care about this year for the Women's World Cup.
Some people in the area are interested in watching the game because they get to see familiar faces. 9 UNC Chapel Hill women's soccer players are participating in the World Cup tournament. 6 of them are on the U.S. team.
Here at Chapel Hill, the women's team has won 21 out of 31 national championships. With that kind of legacy, it's no surprise that UNC players are on the U.S. team.
Honestly, it's an honor to go here and know that there are that many female soccer players playing in the World Cup because that's the most elite that you can possibly get.
This World Cup points out stark differences in popularity between men's and women's soccer. Despite the U.S. women's team being just as good, if not better than the men's team, women's soccer still clearly has yet to receive the same level of appreciation. I'm Zenna Smith, NCSMI News.
True fans think the beautiful game is beautiful regardless of the gender of the players involved.
I'm not a big sports fan, but I am interested in equal opportunity. So, go USA! That does it for this edition of NCSMI News. Safe travels back home.
And maybe we'll see some of you back here in about a year as Carolina students. Go Heels!
Go Heels, like what?
Go Heels.
Bring your voice up higher. Go Heels.
Go Heels.
Are you guys not doing like a little
Go Heels.
No, we're not
No.
doing that.